Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Joshana here with my original library tag video. This original tag I created with the purpose of utilizing it for the April Library Loveathon. So I am going to be tagging like everybody. This is the Library 411 tag. Each question is somehow relating to a resource, a tool, a thing at the library or about the library. So you'll see as I go on. Let's just get into it. Question number 1, information desk. A book that was helpful to you for any reason. It could have doubled as like a stand for a table, or it could have taught you something, however it was useful to you. My answer for this is The New Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander. I just learned so much from this book. It's a topic that I wasn't like oblivious to by any means, like mass incarceration and issues within our justice system and prejudices and stereotyping and all of that fun stuff. It's not like I was oblivious to it, but the information in this book, it's nonfiction and it's a lot of information. I listened to the audiobook primarily and I felt like it was a very good audiobook. And it really puts into perspective systemic racism in our culture. It's not a fun topic, but the book is very informative, and yeah, it definitely helps to put it in perspective. Question number 2 is the return bin. What are 2 books, and I just picked 2 because it's question number 2, I mean you could say more if you want. What are 2 books you read and immediately wanted to return because you disliked them? Beautiful and Damned. Can I talk about that book enough? Apparently not. And 12 Days of Dash and Lily. That one was a library book, and I did return it almost immediately. I DNF'd after like 45 pages. Number 3, the holds section. Your most anticipated release, which you cannot wait to get your hands on. Bright We Burn by Kirsten White. I have it pre-ordered. I need it in my hands. Number 4, community classes and study rooms. A book you loved that was a school assignment. The Left Hand of Darkness by Ursula K. Le Guin. Honestly, it has been like 10 years since I read this book or more, so I don't exactly remember everything. I want to reread it. I've been wanting to reread it. I just remember really loving it. I remember it having an impact on me, and I remember talking about it to like my friends. Number 5, public computers. A modern classic that you love, because computers are modern classics, right? The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. I consider this a modern classic, right? And yeah, I actually really love The Great Gatsby. I know a lot of people don't, but I did. Number 6, DVD rentals. Your most anticipated or favorite in recent history, book to TV adaptation or book to movie adaptation. So I don't even know if this is still a thing, but like a year ago, I remember hearing about it and reading up about it and being so fucking excited. If they do it well, if they do it right, we'll see. And I hope it really is still going to be a thing. And I hope that it's not awful. Like, I hope it's not a CW show. I'm sorry to anybody who loves CW shows. I've watched them and loved them too. But can we just be honest and admit that they're not like super high quality with like the acting and everything? Yeah. Most anticipated book to TV, Throne of Glass. Oh my God. I need this to happen. I need this to be a thing, and I need it to be like on HBO, or I think it was going to be a Hulu original, if I remember correctly. The last time I looked, I'll have to check again. And that made me feel a little better about it, because I was like, if they take Throne of Glass and put it on like the CW or MTV, and it goes the way of like the Shannara Chronicles, right? Is that what that is? Whatever. Or like Vampire Diaries, which again, I'm not hating. I loved Vampire Diaries for the first like 5 seasons. Loved it. It's like trash, but it's great trash. But I don't want this to be great trash. I can already hear people in the comments being like, but the books are great trash. I just don't want it to be like one of those shows. I want it to be like higher quality and like badassery. Like if they give me a CW or MTV version of Manon, that's like just cheesy, and I'm gonna be pissed. I need Manon in all her badassery, right? Like her glorious, gory badassery. Number 7, used bookstore. A random book you picked up and really enjoyed. And this one was a library book. I don't have it anymore, but it was This Raging Light, and I can't even remember the author's name, and I did not write it down. Yeah, it was just a little YA contemporary. The book in general was decent enough. It was cute, like whatever. And then the ending, I personally was like, oh man, that just like set me right up for the next one, and now I want it. Number 8, Teen Room. Favorite YA or favorite book as a kid? Many libraries, I don't know if all do, but I think most do, have like a youth center or like teen room or whatever. And like the one in my local library is really cool, and they have computers like in that room separately for the teens. They have little study rooms separately in there for the teens. Video games they can play, board games they can play, TVs they can just sit there and watch. Like it's a hangout spot. So I'm gonna do my favorite YA. Bam and bam. Number 9, museum tickets. A book that made you a bit more cultured upon reading it. So I think all libraries, definitely most libraries, will often have discounted or free tickets for things like museums, art museums, like whatever, local things in the area. So definitely always check that out. So my answer for this, I couldn't really think of like a super great one, but this one's it's kind of silly, but kind of not. What would Audrey do? And it's Timeless Lessons for Living with Grace and Style. It's just like little etiquette things and little like how to have a more enjoyable life or whatever per how Audrey Hepburn lived her life. Number 10, Overdrive or Hoopla, which are both online app resources for listening to audiobooks, reading ebooks, and with Hoopla, reading e-graphic novels or comic books. An audiobook that you love. Daughter of Smoke and Bone, and the whole trilogy. I had listened to bits of the audiobook for all 3, and it's narrated by the same person. And I just thought it was done really well. I liked it. Different voices, but not like weird. I've heard some audiobooks where I had to stop because it's like a woman narrating, which is fine. That's not why I had to stop. And when they do like a man's voice, it's just like weird. There was one, I can't remember what it was, where every time she was doing this one man's voice, she was like, I am a man. It was just so like, oh God, it was just bad. And in this one, I did not have that problem. I felt like she did a very good job doing different voices, and, you know, I could tell that it was, oh, this is a male character, but it wasn't like this cartoonish, like, male voice. And then I don't have it anymore, but the Jane Steele audiobook, I had the physical copy of Jane Steele, but I also was listening to the audiobook, and I thought that was a very good audiobook as well. Number 11, request a purchase. So, if you do not know, with your library, if you go to search online to see if they have a particular book and they don't have it, you can go and request that they purchase said book. And the question is, a lesser known book that you want more people to know about and read. I went with The Complete Cheese Sweet Home. Part 1 is the only one I have read, and I own it. The library did not have this, unfortunately, and you can only buy it. But I found it on Amazon, a used one for cheaper, and it's so precious. Oh my God. If you love cats, like, you need to read this. You need to check out Cheese Sweet Home, because it's like hurts my heart. It's so cute. Number 12 is librarians, because they are a resource that you can use if you have questions and stuff. The question is a character who loved helping others, or pick a character who loved helping others. And just because it's fresh in my mind, I'm going to go with Jane from Jane Steele. She was very much always trying to, when she was at her boarding school, she was always doing things to try to help her fellow, her peers and her classmates, basically just to try to help them all survive. Number 13, Sanctuary. This is not a resource or anything at a library, but I think that a library for a lot of us is a sanctuary, and it can be for kids Like I said, like my library has that teen room that is almost always full of kids, and I don't know their stories, obviously. Maybe they just like going there, but I think libraries are definitely a place that could be a sanctuary for a lot of kids who maybe don't have a great home life, right? So the question for this, the prompt for this is a book that is your safety net or is like home to you or helped you through a very rough time. Whatever one you feel a connection with. I went with a book that is like home to me, and that is The Railway Children by E. Nesbitt. I've heard some people say how like boring and like painfully boring they think this book is. But I loved it when I was a kid, and I have this little teeny copy with a picture of one of my middle school classmates in it. Weird. It's old as dirt. It's tiny. It's kind of banged up a little bit. But I read it quite a few times, and I don't know what it is. I just loved it. Like, there we have it. I'm going to verbally tag the small handful of booktubers that I know are either librarians or library employees. And I'm probably forgetting some, but off the top of my head, Dylan the Reader 5, which he might have changed his channel name already, but Dylan at any rate. Hardback Hoarder and Beck's Books. I forget her channel name now. Becky's Books? They will be linked down below. And then I'm also going to tag a bunch of other people. But anybody do this. And there will be links down below also for all of the donation options. As a reminder, if you do donate during the April Library Loveathon, be sure to send me an email, also down below, letting me know that you donated with like a little screenshot or forwarding your confirmation email or whatever you get. To show that you did, and that automatically enters you in the raffle to win $50 at Book Depository or a $50 Amazon gift card if that is what you would prefer. Thank you so much for your time, guys, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.